There was a time when owning the wrong kind of pocket knife could brand you as a criminal. Not because it was massive or blood-stained, but because it was just too good, too efficient, too sharp, too clever for the comfort of governments that had just survived World War II. The knife looked harmless enough, really, the sort of thing a farmer or tradesman might keep for work. But behind that modest design hid a piece of military genius that, well, blurred the line between soldier and civilian. This wasn't a weapon meant for display. It was a secret built for survival, sabotage, and silence. During World War II, knives weren't accessories. They were lifelines. Every soldier needed one, for cutting through barbed wire, opening rations, or, making a last stand when ammunition ran dry. But amid the sea of blades issued to troops, one stood apart. A folding knife, inspired by the infamous Fairbairn-Sykes commando dagger. The blade trusted by Britain's most elite operatives. This new version didn't just cut, it transformed. A quick flick of the wrist and it locked into a double-edged weapon that could disappear back into a pocket just as fast. It was compact, deadly and discreet. The kind of edge that made a man dangerous even when he looked unarmed. As the guns fell silent and troops returned home, many brought their gear with them, including these folding combat knives. What started as a tool for elite commandos began showing up in the hands of dock workers, miners and mechanics. Collectors admired its craftsmanship, but officials saw something darker, a military weapon disguised as a work tool. What made this hidden knife such a problem was the very thing that made it brilliant. Its narrow, double-edged blade cut cleanly in either direction. Its locking spine snapped into place so securely that it could pierce, not just slice. And its one-handed flick deployment, years before switchblades became a pop culture menace, turned it into a quick-draw survival tool. The steel was heat-treated to balance hardness with flexibility, a small miracle of wartime metallurgy. The pivot assembly reduced friction, allowing the blade to glide open with almost surgical smoothness. Every modern tactical folder you've seen, Gerber, Benchmade, Spyderco, owes a debt to this forgotten design. This was the ancestor of the tactical folder, the blueprint for every modern, everyday carry knife. The knife wasn't revolutionary because it was violent. It was revolutionary because it was accessible. A trained commando could hide it in a sleeve, a belt or a boot. A returning veteran could carry it in his coat pocket without a second glance. That level of concealment terrified governments still haunted by wartime paranoia. Britain's 1959 Restriction of Offensive Weapons Act made it illegal to sell or import flick knives and gravity knives. The United States Switchblade Act of 1958 followed suit, outlawing spring-assisted blades nationwide. The fear wasn't really about the knife itself. It was about control, The idea that a weapon so small and efficient could, level the playing field between authority and the ordinary man. Ironically, those same bans forced knife makers to innovate. Out went the springs. In came thumb studs, manual flippers and assisted openers. The entire modern knife industry honestly evolved as a workaround to laws designed to suppress one small folding blade from the 1940s. Even banned, the knife refused to disappear. Surplus stores sold them quietly under the counter. Soldiers traded them. Collectors hid them. In rural areas of Europe and Africa, similar designs appeared in the hands of workers who had no idea their tool had once been a forbidden weapon. To them, it was just the best knife they'd ever owned, perfect for cutting rope, trimming wood, or dressing small game. Its legend spread quietly through word of mouth and craftsmanship. It wasn't about rebellion, it was about respect for good design. A blade that folded down, small enough to carry anywhere, yet strong enough to trust with your life. That balance between practicality and power made it immortal. If you're a modern survivalist, collector, or history buff, the lessons behind this knife are still relevant. First, understand the laws where you live. Know what kind of blades are legal to carry and which are restricted. The line between tool and weapon still matters. Then look for quality. A proper everyday carry knife, legal, safe and effective, should have the same qualities that made the wartime folder legendary reliable locking, corrosion-resistant steel, and a handle that feels like an extension of your hand. Maintain it the way soldiers did in the field. Clean the pivot, oil the hinge, sharpen it with a whetstone until it slices paper without resistance. When you use your knife to cut cordage, prepare firewood, or open gear in a tough spot, you're tapping into a legacy of design born from necessity. The hidden pocket knife that civilians were once forbidden to own laid the foundation for every efficient tool in the modern outdoorsman's kit. This story isn't just about a piece of steel. It's about what happens when innovation meets fear. Governments tried to erase it, but its DNA survived in every tactical folder, every rescue knife, every precision-made EDC blade carried by adventurous soldiers and craftsmen today. What was once considered too dangerous for civilians has become a symbol of precision, reliability, and preparedness. That's, well, the paradox of history. The tools designed for war often end up redefining peace. The hidden pocket knife civilians were forbidden to own wasn't just a banned object. It was the turning point where survival met design and where fear of power turned into regulation. But despite the bans, its influence never died. It reshaped industries, inspired innovation, and taught a simple truth. Great engineering always finds a way to survive. So, the next time you open a folding knife, just, take a second look. That smooth lock, that perfect balance, it's not an accident. It's the echo of a blade that once defied the law and defined a generation of craftsmanship. If you found this story fascinating, subscribe to HistoryHQ, share it with your fellow history buffs, and drop a comment on which hidden relic we should uncover next. Because here, every story has an edge, and some are sharper than history ever dared to admit.